Like, I was always told as a kid, if you got a tattoo, you couldn't be buried in a Jewish cemetery. I was kind of against them. I didn't want them to be shown. And then I wanted to hide it from my mom. And so the first one I got on my butt.
Is this real?
Swear to God.
You have a tattoo on your...
Still exist?
Yeah, I didn't get it removed. I can't really see it well from where I stand, but...
Does anybody else want to?
Yes, I want worse than anything I've ever wanted to see.
I'm very comfortable.
I can go off camera here.
What did Bianca say the first... Oh, dear Lord.
That is a smooth bottom.
By the way, you have no hair.
So, yeah, I mean, I had obviously super Christian, conservative home growing up. Went to a K through 12 school where it was like, there's scripture that says, like, don't maim or mark your body, like, you know, huge thing. We weren't allowed to do anything. And that's, I think, the motivator to, like, I pierced everything.
Right.
I started getting tattoos at 18 because it was like, they told me I couldn't do it. So my mom cried for like a week, the first one I got. She was, we're recording.
Slap your hand.
I know.
My dad didn't talk to me for a week when I got my ears pierced the first time.
Yeah. Your ears are pierced?
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah.
We should all,
and in my
the next podcast, we
oh
should
my
all
God.
I did. I went through
Were you like a raver?
I went through a phase.
Tongue.
Yeah.
I didn't do the tongue. I did lip.
You did?
Nose. I had
learning so much.
I had this weird, I had my nipples. I did that in high school.
I did. They leak sometimes. I was. No.
Oh, my brother! You're like, son of a bitch. My brother did that and sent a video. It was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen. Just like him squirming, and then when it finally went through,
His nipple?
oh yeah, oh my God, it was one of the best things I've ever seen.
That sounds horrific.
It was not.
Do they ice it down to get it really erect?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Right?
A little bit.
And numb it.
Are you still talking about the nipple?
Why?
Do we go off topic?
Yeah, okay.
It is weird that you ice a nipple to get it hard, but if you did ice elsewhere,
That's where I was
it would
going.
be the opposite.
We all went there.
Yeah.
I think we did. I think. Do you guys have any good vacations planned or anything? By the way, I didn't know if we were. Are we talking about that or anything?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I might have been mistaken. So my apologies.
Well, we're trying to plan a vacation with our friend Brad. He's kind of doing this weird.
He says he
I don't want to.
only likes to go to Hilton. And
I don't remember that. I just remember you guys going, "Oh, we're going here, sweet." And then I was looking in the window, like, "What the fuck?"
You know what? We canceled it,
and we're not going.
You know what? That's just bullshit.
We did.
Lie.
No, we did. I said, if Brad's not going, what's the point? So we canceled.
Courtney's like, "Who the F is Brad?"
So I don't
and
get to.
We're going.
So I don't get to see the pitons.
Who's Courtney?
That's
wife.
my wife. Yeah.
Oh,
My wife is Courtney as well.
Oh,
not the same
this would be fun.
It'd be interesting if we're married. Say it, check.
Luckily, they're spelled differently, so it's dead giveaway.
Were you guys wondering, like, God, you're gone like for extended periods at a time? What's going on here?
She's day on and day off.
Right.
Now it's adding up.
Yeah,
I
now
just
everything's
thought she was
making
working.
sense.
Yeah, no.
Oh, she was working.
Working it.
This is going somewhere south.
Sorry, Courtney. This is sorry, Courtney's.
So whenever you're saying something negative, you're talking about your Courtney. Not you good. You good.
Oh,
That
Courtney.
bitch, Courtney. Mine, Courtney, not yours.
Yeah. So we're about the tattoos. You know, our people are against tattoos for
You're talking about the tribe?
yes,
Okay.
for back to World War II and prior to World War II. But I know it. Like I was always told as a kid that like if you got a tattoo, you couldn't be buried in a Jewish cemetery.
That's not true.
Well, now I think it has changed, but I think it was true, wasn't it?
Never true.
Oh, it was never true. Huh. You think that was just like a mom thing to get you to not get a
No,
tattoo?
to not go too deep with this, Jewish Jews believe in forgiveness, and you got a tattoo, you made a mistake, I forgive you. Of course, you can be buried here. It's really that simple.
Mm.
It's not
But
like
it wasn't. But was it a negative prior to us getting tattooed?
I mean, in the war.
Yes.
I think it's always been the same, and I think you quoted it pretty clearly, like maimed and or
Oh, that was always a
marked. And I think
It's some Old Testament stuff.
it's Old Testament. But no, we believe in forgiveness, and you made a mistake, and I forgive you. I mean, can you imagine somebody at the morgue or at the funeral home saying, "Oh, well, this guy, he's got a tattoo. He can't be buried. Get him out of here." Like, it just can't go that way.
yeah.
So you're good.
See, you're good.
I mean, I'm not really. I wasn't concerned.
You're
about it.
forgiven.
But I was kind of against them. I didn't want them to be shown, and then I wanted to hide it from my mom, and so the first one I got on my butt, so that I'm like, well, she's never gonna see that.
Is this real?
Swear to God.
story? You have a tattoo on your
Still exist?
Yeah, I didn't get it removed.
I might need to see.
There's only
it.
really
Let's see
one
it.
person that ever sees my butt.
Is this for real? What's on your butt?
What does it say? Enter this way.
I am in shock right now that this
It
is
says
coming out.
Detroit, but the O is no.
Logan, I've never wanted to see another man.
It's
this
Old
bad.
English D that I got. I was drunk in Palm
I
Springs.
don't know what to say
for
about any
a
of this.
birthday party.
Did you give us the age? How old you were?
How old? I mean, this was probably 12 years ago, maybe something like that.
long ago. You know better by then.
And I didn't
Not
know
that.
better than a lot of things.
You didn't
back
know
then.
then.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to go. Like, I feel like we need to
grown-
unpack a lot
You're a
of things.
grown man.
Wait a second. You had your nipples pierced?
You can take those out.
Yeah, I can't see anything. You're walking around with an Old English D on your ass.
And it doesn't look good.
I bet it doesn't.
And it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. It's going to be behind your knee in about
It's really
3
just
years.
like, it kind of looks like a blue splotch.
Now, are you like shaving your ass so that you can see it, or you just let it go?
I don't really have hair on my cheeks, like
We'll be the
a
judge
lot.
of that.
Mhm. I think the hair.
Jury's out. We're gonna do
Miguel Dean, we're going to cut
when
a
this
little
thing
bit. We're going to
when this
do
thing's
this off
published.
camera.
We're gonna do a vote. Who wants to see Logan's ass?
I mean, I used to show. This was so. Tigers were in the playoffs,
Unbelievable.
so I would show it all throughout the playoffs,
You just dropped trowel?
nonstop. Then I shaved it into my head, like so. I had the tattoo and it shaved in my head.
Damn it,
As the
I
Tigers
never
were in
have
the
wished to
playoffs.
know you back in the day as I do right now.
If you brought that back, you talk about personal branding. You would move some real estate. I mean,
The tattoo or the
all
I think you should start putting that on some marketing
Yeah.
materials.
Or call the Tigers and get, I don't know, you can be a mascot or something.
I don't think I'm the only guy with the Old English D on their body.
On your bottom, maybe.
So
I bet not. I bet you there's a
think so.
lot.
It was a really poor, like, bad. It was poor craftsmanship.
Oh,
Really, poor artistry.
my mind is blown. Right now.
yeah.
How did I never?
I thought you just had the shoulder, arm ones. I didn't realize you had one on your bottom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's phenomenal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I've never felt less respect for you in my life, and I kind of dig it.
Okay, listen, guys.
Okay.
Turn it into something cool now.
Well, I was thinking about that. Like, what could I keep going with? But I don't really want. It's not huge. It's really just absolute waste because it doesn't. I can't really see it well. from where I stand, but I don't think, like, if I showed it to you guys right now, I don't know if you guys would say, oh, yeah, it's an Old English tea. Like, it's not great. It's like,
Does anybody else want to?
Yes, I want worse than anything I've ever wanted to see.
I'm very comfortable.
I can go off camera here.
I think
Go.
that's.
What did Bianca say the first?
We're
Oh, dear Lord.
that is a smooth bottom.
By the way, you have no hair.
What? So did you tell Bianca about it before she saw it, or did she see it before she knew about it?
I think it was if I could say this, but she moved in the second date. Okay. So
When you know, you know.
early on, and at times, I guess I sleep in the nude. So she saw a walk to the bathroom or something at one point. It was like,
I've seen Brad.
What's on your
mind go to the
I'm
visualizing. All
I'm trying not to throw her under the bus for any premarital activities, but
Well, I'm sure there wasn't any, but my point is, what was her reaction? Was she like, what the fuck is that? Or
I don't think she cared.
really?
I don't know. We haven't talked about it.
I feel like she would have
It wasn't a
some
big enough
sh-
deal for me to remember.
I
don't
feel like
think
she
she
would have
cared.
given you some shit for it. Like,
I think she
you're
was
a
so in
jackass.
love that
Was she though?
It's close to the Chinese takeout. Like you're
Yeah.
questioning everything.
Yeah.
from here. I'm a Detroit Tigers fan.
Well, maybe that young lady liked Chinese takeout.
It's
I mean,
a great spot for something like that.
I needed it at the time. I thought I was not going to get any more, and I wanted it to be hidden, even if I was in a bathing suit. Now, granted, right after I got it, I put on a little Speedo and showed everybody at the pool. But
I'm with you, Peter. I just
This is amazing.
yeah, I've literally been.
keep going. No, keep going here. No, let's keep going.
I didn't want to shove
Let's
it in your
unpack
face
that.
one of our vacations together, but
May as well.
when we were in South Africa, I put on the Speedo that you can see it.
I think
Why was you staring at my ass?
I think the Speedo blinded
I
anything
definitely
else.
blocked it out.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I feel like you would have seen it at that point.
Fucking
Man.
Yeah.
wow. I can't unsee it now. That's the problem.
Maybe you can fill it all in and just call it a birthmark, and no one will be any wiser
It kind of already looks like it, doesn't it?
with some fading holes.
Yeah.
It's sort of all like bled and like it just
Yeah, I don't think it was ever. It was
looks like a
never,
lowercase d
really
now.
defined, and now it's just gonna keep just drooping.
It has drooped.
Yeah,
It has.
but I don't think it ever was.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, it was never perky there to begin with.
What's
but-
amazing to me is you guys, this is probably not the first time you guys are talking about tattoos here, and this has not come
No,
out.
it is.
No, it is.
Well, we talked about doing the tattoo.
That was like off camera
I
at
see.
another time.
yeah.
I see.
But even then,
I mean, we've had lots of conversations
About tattoos?
where, regrets and things that we've done, but I don't think
it's
the
not like
tattoo on
Do
the.
you know how many regrets I have to get
That
down?
one would really I feel like that one is so at the bottom of the list.
Well, and it opened up the door to like I was so scared to tell my mom. I was never going to. And then just one day I was at her house and I was like, screw it. And I just like flashed my bottom, and her response
I don't even know what to say
was
about that either.
what?
I can't keep it together.
You can't show your mom your butt?
I'd rather not.
seen everything.
Well, I know, but
Up to a certain
oh
point.
yeah, I mean up to a certain age, I feel like.
It's your butt.
Okay.
I just showed you guys. You guys asked to see my butt.
Wow, that's different. That was more to make.
But-
that was more to make fun of you for
So-
long term.
Anyways,
You-
I showed her, and I was like getting ready for like the wrath of mom or something, and she just said, "You would," and that was it. And I was like, "Okay, well that's done." So now I don't have to like hide it as much. I still want to hide it
So now you can walk around with
from
pants on.
business and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, but don't you think? I mean, Peter, you can speak on this. I mean, tattoos have become so mainstream now, right? Where I don't think people feel. I mean, I know you do, but I think in general, I don't think people feel like they have to hide them as much.
Oh, absolutely
Right?
not. Yeah, it used to be that. I think this is just generational cycles too. Like
Yeah.
our parents was like, "Whoa, you're not doing that," and
Right.
then our generation tattoo crazy. My gut is our kids are gonna be like, "Oh." Like I feel like my daughter's gonna be like, "Dad, that's so gross. You have tattoos everywhere." Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be uncool again.
Right.
Kind of go through
Right.
these cycles.
Well, I think it becomes uncool once you're at a certain age, no matter what. Like physically, it just
Yeah.
is like,
That could be your opinion.
I'm like, and I'm fine. I'm looking to get more, but I do know come 70 years old, if I ever make it that long, none of it's going to look even close to as good as I think it looks even now, which I don't think it even really does. I did
It's a
certain
cool.
ones.
I like the older guy gal with like all
I like the
tatted
old
up.
Marine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I like the guy with like the anchor, the Navy
Yeah,
anchor or
like
something like that.
guy.
That guy will kick your
When
ass.
it's a veteran, there's something when I see
Yes.
it that I'm like, this guy's a badass.
Yeah.
He fought for us.
I agree.
Like,
But also like tattoo technology, like the actual equipment they use, the way that they outline them,
Mm-hmm.
the way that you take care of your tattoo. Like people know what to do now. And
Yeah, the guy
keep
that
it
did
out
my
of the sun.
that was an alley. That was
It
a
should
dark alley.
like the marine tattoos. They look like just a blob.
Yeah,
they
do.
now because they weren't done
Well,
well.
they were in the basement of a ship. So,
Right.
I mean,
Right. Prison tattoos, like, so it should look, if they were done well, it should still
should
look
stand the test of
decent.
time.
Yeah.
yeah.
I want it to, like, since then, well, I think I just have the two now. Other
And the
than that,
third.
well, after that. And like, there was meaning. There was like
Yes.
real meaning
Yes.
to it. And like the next one will be, my kids. And like, to me, that's just, I don't know, it's like a homage to your, whatever your,
Yeah.
something meaningful. Like I personally am not doing it for like the artistry. It's more like,
Sentimental.
this is meaningful to me, so I'm doing it. That isn't leaving me, right?
Yeah.
Like the one on this arm, that was more like I'm making a statement, like a permanent statement that like this is like a big change I'm making in my life. Just has to be meaningful. I don't know. Like
I agree with you. I agree.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it just to do it anymore. Like I wouldn't get a Detroit Lions one now, probably. Just
I was going to say, you should go
What, me and the other cheek? or
all
what?
franchises.
do a Red Wings
Yeah.
on one side. And like, yeah. Anyways, all right, let's get started. Welcome to
Mr. Clapper.
episode number something of Midlife, the podcast, a dad bod production or experience, depending on the week. This week, I'm happy to announce that my dear friend, who I absolutely adore, I don't want to say too many positive things because I don't want his head to get any bigger.
Near Here.
And that person is Brad Marshall.
Yes, I knew it.
I just
I
love
knew it.
so much.
Suck it.
No, my good buddy who I look up to in a lot of ways, except physically, and just think the world of. I love how you are as a father. I love how you are as a businessman. I probably talk to you longer when I talk to you than anyone else in my life when I'm talking on the phone, and which affects my other parts of my life, my income probably, but I enjoy talking to you, and I'm so happy that you're here so that these guys get to meet you and enjoy some of the nuggets that you bring. So David Glass, wonderful man, is here.
Thank you.
Welcome to
You guys meet him.
Thank you. Thank you both. Very nice to meet you both.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
That was
Yeah.
nice and took a while.
And did.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
now you know why he talks to you so much because he has a lot to get out.
Yeah.
and I'm
Just
looking
really
forward to
wanted-
the chicken nuggets. You brought nuggets?
I brought some nuggets.
Okay.
All this talk about me, that D on your Tush. Maybe
That was
that for me.
no, but that's the next one.
Foreshadowing.
It's just going to be David.
Complete it. I'll pay for it.
Really?
For sure.
Okay, I'm in.
And then he won't come to the cemetery and see you because you won't be there.
Right.
Because you just added to
You
it.
keep making mistakes.
Yeah, now, if you stop making the mistakes, then you get in.
Forgiveness.
You keep adding to it.
And just
Yeah.
77 times 7, Logan. She got it. It's just going to keep going.
yeah.
Welcome, Dave. We're glad to have you.
Really nice to be here. I've never done a podcast. I've never.
Neither.
Oh, yeah, we haven't been here. It's all new for us,
Great.
too.
I like what you guys have going. Just good energy in the room. You guys are all smiling, laughing. I like it.
It's really casual around here. And, I told you a little bit, but for our listener, the
Listener one.
the premise of the podcast is really just a hard-hitting news show. No, it's just, we're all dads. We're all relatively midlife, depending on how things go. And we're all
negative talk about this.
struggling or not struggling with balancing everything in our lives between, our jobs or our businesses, our families, our kids, our friendships, hobbies, whatever it is. And, this is just a place for us to be able to spend some time together, but also to get to meet new people and hear how other people are navigating this crazy world of being parents, and going through all this. And, I feel like one of the reasons why I chat with you as much as I do is because, and you guys too, is we need, I think, help. We need to be able to talk about this stuff and get better. And so I'm always searching to get better as a person, as a parent, as a businessman, everything. So that's basically why we're here. So
Take it away, David.
yeah, tell us.
I was like a 25-minute intro, so you got the next 25 minutes here.
You have about 30 seconds to change our lives.
Yeah.
Joe.
I don't know if I have anything to add. You said a lot.
Yeah,
That was very
a lot.
He really
He does
did.
talk to you longer than anyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
So it's more him talking at you.
really
than
just
anyone else.
waiting for you to say I love you and talking to you too. That's the proper thing at this
I
point.
do. I feel like Logan and I have a lot in common. Our kids are way different ages, but between life and real estate and wives and golf and local investing, we hit on a lot of topics where we have a lot to share. So I don't want to get as mushy as you did, but I enjoy talking to you as well. Next topic.
So give us a little, what do you do for work?
I own real estate that I manage, mostly single family residential properties, and I manage them all myself. I have labor staff. I have administrative staff, but for anybody that has an issue, they pick up the phone, they eventually get to me, and then I direct the fix. And
So do you have a management company that essentially that takes care of it all?
yeah, so I own the management company,
Right.
so there's a little separation between
Okay.
owner of the property and owner of the management company. But I don't manage for anybody else.
Right,
I only manage
just for your
Yeah.
properties.
Cool.
Yeah.
And kids, you got some kids, it sounds
I
like?
do. I have 4 kids. I have a blended family, so my wife had 2 and I have 2.
Okay.
Wow.
And they're staggered in ages like perfectly. I have a senior at State. I have a junior at Western. I have a sophomore at State. And I have an 11th grader at Groves.
Oh, nice.
And my wife's kids are phenomenal. Mine are pretty good, but her kids are great. And we have a lot of fun with them.
Must be the parenting.
That's awesome.
Right. It does. And Logan will tell you. My wife is phenomenal.
She's a looker too.
And we're not just saying that
Because we're not inappropriate. Okay.
Hey,
not at all.
We're all blessed.
he just keeps digging, doesn't
It
he?
does it never stops. It never stops.
We're all pretty lucky in that regard, both with our kids and our partners. Like, I could admit that.
We would admit it for you if you didn't. So So, David, when you were starting your business, starting your company, your kids were much younger, I'm guessing, or is this something you did sort of later in life?
Well, I started in the mortgage business.
Okay.
And in '08, the opportunity to acquire came available, and I had some free time, and it just seemed like the right investment. We were still busy with loans, but there was always going to be people renting and needing housing, and we saw it as an opportunity that we just couldn't pass up, and then it just mushroomed, and we went on a buying spree and we had a good first career, and then my partner and I, who is still my partner today, we acquired these properties together.
Terrific.
So when you were going through like the initial acquiring stage, you were still in the mortgage business, right?
Yeah. We had a niche in the mortgage business, and we were only doing FHA loans. And you know what FHA?
Mm-hmm.
So there was not a lot of people around here that could even spell FHA.
Right.
And we had no issue with it. That's how we were taught, and that's what we went with. So when the market fell out of every other kind of loan in '08, we were really one of the only guys around doing loans. So our mortgage business took off, and I was sort of pushed out because there needed to be more managerial at every position instead of me overseeing five teams, whether it's processing or underwriting or whatever it is. And then I saw this opportunity, and we started buying houses.
Very cool.
And that's where we are today.
And how many do you have?
Well,
It's a big number, I think, if I remember.
Well,
it is.
I feel like you never want to tell the number. You don't have to.
No, I don't.
I feel like you don't even want to know.
Is it more than two?
Okay.
More than two.
More than two, less than 500. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's in that range, and it keeps me plenty busy, and I can take a service call from here, and I can direct an electrician to troubleshoot something. My grandfather was a builder. It's sort of in my DNA. I learn quick, and I'm not afraid to get dirty, and so when there needs to be an extra labor guy around, then sign me up.
So do you have the labor guys on staff?
I do.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
kind of nice. So that's got to make it a little easier. Instead of having to call somebody and schedule something, you sort of send them out as needed.
Yeah, I send them out every single day.
Yeah.
And we go from project to project or renovation to renovation. If it's even a bathroom or if it's nothing and just turning it over for the next person, it's just cleaning it up and a new set of blinds or something simple. But it all has to get done because your wife, Courtney, is not going to accept anything less than great, and they're not going to want to pay if it's anything less than great. So we do a really good job and put out a good product.
Are your any of the kids interested in the biz?
I don't think so. And I'm not sure this is for them. This is what I do could lead to free time.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens with free time is maybe you get a tattoo in a place that you question 12 years later.
I was really going to go there. So yes, thank you.
It's like mailbox money, and it's not, I don't want that for them.
Right.
I didn't have anything when I, was growing up. And I like that I had to earn it. I appreciate it. And my kids live wonderful lives. They're blessed, and they're all great kids, but they need to do it on their own.
Got their own paths,
I think, and appreciate what you've done, not what I did.
Right.
This isn't generational wealth. Okay. So those people, somebody that's born into like a Tubman family or a big giant, they have no choice. They're going there.
Taubman is not a sponsor of this midlife project.
No, like A Jewelers, which is one of our sponsors, along with Grinder and
Wow. Yeah. Speaking of which, Anthony A. asks me every time I see him, so when are these coming out? What are we doing? I'm like, gotta ask Logan, man.
We got to get the intro. This is why we're talking the tattoo.
Intro schmintro. We gotta get a couple.
By
of
the time
are
people
asking.
are actually seeing this episode, there is an intro. So it's like this is very meta. We're like talking about an intro that they're seeing right now about it being made. It's very weird. Yeah,
Tron or something.
yeah, yeah. We're in the Matrix right now.
Might have been here.
Would it matter? No, I'm just kidding.
You guys will be on vacation without me anyway, so it doesn't matter.
My God.
Would you like to go on vacation with us?
Well, it's interesting. You guys are planning a vacation for December. You know it's December. Where
What?
you guys have nothing booked?
Oh, geez.
Nobody?
Well, I'm hoping for one of those last minute deals.
We're hoping for a friend with a lot of free time
Yeah.
that has a lot of capacity to be like, hey, I got a thing.
I know a guy.
You do?
I might know a guy.
Well, there's something that I've been meaning to ask you. Would you like to get tattoos together?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I'll go with you,
Okay. All right.
and I won't try to talk you out of it unless
He'll just stand in the corner and judge.
Yeah.
So,
Your choices, not ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
David, you mentioned if you were going to do something, it would be, meaningful, kids related. What would you do?
I think it goes both ways. Like, you're going to get aggressive when you're 18 and you're going to do something that you really mean, like it means a lot to you then. And right. But I don't think you know what means much to you until you're 30 something and you've gone through life experiences and you've maybe made some bad decisions or you've been places that you need to have a memory.
He's looking directly at Logan right now. Well, for those listeners.
Yeah, we all have them. I mean, you have to have some sort of meaning. Nothing?
No, not in life, not in, yeah, there's all and I think that's I always thought the same thing getting tattoos early is like there's got to have this deep meaning, and then I think a lot of people get one tattoo and they're done, or they get one tattoo and the Kool-Aid just keeps overflowing and they go and go and go. And so as I've grown up, even some of my tattoos that had an original meaning, I've sort of evolved the meaning of those tattoos because life has evolved. So, and you like kind of forget you have them. It's not like I'm like looking at all my tattoos every day and going, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. The one on my back is oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And I don't have to look at it every day because it's on my back. It's like
The Steve-O, like,
yeah, it's huge thumbs up. It's not, but it had meaning at the time. And I was young, and it was like a redemption tattoo, kind of a second chances. So like there's still meaning there. But, when I did that, I thought I had made all these mistakes and it was signifying. And I had like just started making my mistakes. I've made so many more then. And so the meaning has evolved, and they all have some sort of reference. But yeah, I mean, tattoos I think the experience of getting a tattoo is also like the commitment to doing anything that's permanent is like, all right, I'm committing to doing something. There's a whole meaning behind that. And also, yeah, it like started because they were cool. They look cool. I was like, I want tattoos because I couldn't have them. Everyone said I couldn't have them, and I thought they were cool. And when you're 18, 20, you just want to be cool. That's all you care about. So... But the meaning thing is important. I have one for my daughter, and I have some for family members. When my dad passed away, I put his signature on my chest, and I have some of those like tribute tattoos, and then I have others that are a little bit more philosophical in meaning. Little mix, yeah.
Oh, no.
So
you don't regret anything.
No, not. I think there's opportunities with tattoos. You can always get them taken off if you want to do that, and then you can, get them covered up.
But I was going to say, I mean, at least I think with, the sleeves and stuff like that, I think you can alter things. If you look at something, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. You can sort of add something to it, or take away that part of it.
That is, I would say, if I had a regret with the tattoo stuff, is if I knew I was going to do sleeves, I should have done them as like one comprehensive piece. Like, I want to tell a story and I want it all to be combined, because I've had, on both of my sleeves, 4 to 5 different artists and little pieces that had to get put together.
Yeah, but I think that's cool though. Like I see people with sleeves and I'm like, man, like, do you sit down and go, okay, this is what I want, this whole thing? Or do you just sort of take little bits of, this experience and sort of try and meld them all together?
Yeah.
Right. Like I think
sleeve that once, or does it keep growing?
Well, you can do either or.
that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
You could do one that just tells a whole story, or, you can take, like his daughter or, other family members and sort of add things in, or pictures or whatever. So that's
it's cool from a meaning significance, but the aesthetically,
yeah.
because if you don't have it things
Take your
where you
shirt
want them to be, we're all just going
Let's
to
come on. We've already seen Lincoln's ass. Like, see what you got.
Sushi dinners.
We'll just look at you and poke and stuff.
I was surprisingly encouraged by my wife, who I wasn't going to think this was her thought process, was like, do more tattoos. It was a huge attraction. Like, you should do it on your chest and do this. And
Really?
Yeah. So I also married with someone who was like, thought they're cool and encouraged me to do more.
Does she have tattoos?
She's got the, like, I was 16 in Spain and I got a thing.
Okay.
And then she's got, we got the same for our daughter.
Oh, cool.
Same tattoo. And then like a little one, but she's not tatted.
Is it a D on her ass or no?
It's not, but it is
Just above?
It is in the same region.
To me, and she got that, I'm assuming, a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, she was literally 16.
Yeah.
In Europe.
So like, I don't know. I'm always curious now, like, people that have like mullets today, they know that it's like a mullet, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe in the 70s or 80s, it like wasn't a thing as like a negative, like, that region of the lower back tattoo. Like today, are people still getting it? I mean, I'm sure everybody's getting tattoos everywhere, but like, but don't they know
that it's a tramp stamp?
The negative connotation behind it now? Like,
yeah, I think there's a lot of people that do, and they just don't care.
Yeah.
David, is your wife Jewish?
She is.
She is. Okay. So
where's her, or what is her tramp stamp?
It's yeah. She doesn't have one.
Do any of your 4 kids have any?
No, that I know of. No,
Okay.
I do think that there's 2 that would go there.
I know one
So
for sure.
was that a conversation though when they were younger? Like,
No. My stepson Hayden is if you told him that we can jump out of an airplane tomorrow, he would be in line.
okay.
No questions asked.
I'll take him.
He is he's the one that I think could put something on his body, but I don't know what. And I don't think he would do a designed sleeve. I think he would need meaning, and he would just add it as he went, but I don't know what. And then my daughter Jordan, her mom has a couple of tattoos, small things, I think. And I think she would get
Jordan
a tattoo.
would?
Yeah, my daughter Jordan would get a tattoo.
So what would your reaction be if one of your kids came home with one?
Yeah, I can't say anything. These are adults, and what can I say? I don't want them to not like it because dad doesn't like it. It's permanent, and try to be supportive and understanding that everyone's got their own, ideas and interests, and this is what you want to do with your body. Who am I to say you shouldn't, or you should do it differently? Or
have you always been that way? Because
No.
I feel like
No.
ever since I've known you, you kind of have been, for the most part, like pretty like just
Open-minded.
Yeah, open-minded with your kids and kind of like, hey, I just want you guys to be happy, follow your own path kind of thing. and, I can help guide you a little bit, but have you always been that cool dad, or?
I don't look at myself as a cool dad. I look at myself as like I like micromanage or I helicopter parent too much.
You do? You do?
I think I do.
Really?
Courtney says all the time that the kids love you. Their friends come around. They want to be with you. You make everybody laugh. You're fun to be around. You're a great, involved, supportive dad. I don't necessarily see it that way. I just see it as me being me and just trying to be helpful. I mean, these are adult little people. And
But like when they were 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I'm assuming at times maybe getting into trouble or, getting a C instead of an A or whatever it might have been, or a D or an F or whatever.
sounds about right.
Like, were you a disciplinarian or in your eyes at least, or?
So, I think I know what you're saying. And so I will say this to you.
Somebody does.
I think we can all agree that, I don't know what you guys do for a living, but I think parenting is the hardest job I've ever had. And every single day is a challenge, and you want to be supportive and you don't want them to suffer, and you try to be as cool as you can. I don't think I was. I think I've evolved to really understand that this stuff that I would care about is nothing and meaningless, and don't get hung up on it. Whereas now they share more and they go through me. And my wife is fantastic. Did I already say that?
I think you might have.
Good. You're going to touch
A
on
lot
brownie
goes
points.
through her, and
Yeah.
she's a great facilitator, like a point guard. And it's helpful when you have a great partner to, help drive.
Well, I was saying to these guys, I don't know, episode 2 or 7, whatever it was, it's very awesome for me because my kids are 14, 13, and 9, where theirs are much younger. So like I'm getting into that stage where they're I'm still the parent and so is my wife, but they're becoming more friends now. Like we're becoming friends now, like where we can go and have chats and, we just have more fun than when they were little. And it was, sort of a one-sided thing. It's taken on a whole different life and I love it.
I think that's great. And that's what happens. But if I was hard on my kid every single day, they're not going to want to share and be friendly and come to you with their problems or their successes or their concerns or their friends that are doing bad shit.
Well, and that's what I told my daughter the other day, I'm like, if you're at a party and something doesn't feel right, I don't care what time it is, where you are, call me, like that's it. And it's not, you're going to be in trouble or any of this. It's, and I think you do, obviously you have to be hard as a parent. You have to be tough, but there is that fine line that, you start walking at a certain age, right? Where as they get older, you have to give them more freedom and stuff like that. So I think that's where I'm at now. And it's taken on just a whole different aspect.
I mean, kids, they make you worry morning, noon, and night.
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 drivers out on the road, back and forth to East Lansing. My son's name is Mac. He goes to Western. I still tell them, all right, drive safe. Don't text and drive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Really? They don't need to hear me say that. They know. It's not like even if I'm saying it, they're not.
Right. Exactly.
I think, so my dad,
I'm like scared just listening to that.
So it's not so.
My daughter's in driver's ed right now. Like she has another week left and I'm like, oh boy.
but you can only do so much, right? So you teach them, you give them the foundation and you gotta let them go. I'll do anything. I'll come whenever, no questions asked. I had that built into me. Like I grew up in that house too. I think I was in my mid-20s and I had to make that phone call. I was in a situation that was like, ooh, this is not going to lead to anything good. Yeah. Pre-Uber and all those things weren't available. And I did the, hey, Dad, 911 phone call. And it was probably 4 a.m. And he picked me up and it was like, dropped me off in my apartment, took a drive home, no questions asked.
But how cool is that?
But that was built in.
Right?
The other thing I was going to ask about you mentioned all my friends or all my kids' friends want to hang out at the house and it's cool. Was that intentional? Like, for you two, Brad, did you guys want to be the house that like your kids' friends always wanted to come hang out at, and it was like the launch pad? Or is
I
it
personally
organically
did.
happening?
I mean, it wasn't like I went out and was like, oh my God, just have them over.
Yeah.
But I always liked having their friends over just because I knew they were there, and, they were sort of within, hearing distance, and you could kind of keep an eye on them. But, and as they've gotten older, it's kind of fun. Like as I'm driving especially my two older ones, driving their friends around, and you hear the conversations because they sort of forget that you're there. And they start talking about this or that, and you're like, what? And then I get home and I'll be like, say to my wife, like, blah, blah, blah. She'll be like, oh yeah, I knew about that. I'm like, the fuck? I didn't know. But do you remember that too?
Yeah. So my kids, I just did COVID with teenagers. And so it was different. They missed a ton.
Yeah.
And there were years of, putting everything on hold, obviously. And so we didn't have a ton of high school.
Oh, yeah.
Over at the house, but kids always brought friends over. I always, I was divorced. My kids were 5 and 3, 6 and 4.
Okay.
And so I was always parenting on my own. And they would always have friends over. I always knew every one of the kids' parents. And it was a lot of fun. It was always better when they had friends over because you can interact. But I do remember those drives where you are up front, they're in back, they don't even remember you're there, and they're chatting.
Yes.
And you're listening, and of course you're listening. But I was really lucky. My kids didn't do a lot of bad stuff, and I don't think it had anything to do with me because I did a lot of bad stuff.
Sure.
Not as much as Logan, but a lot.
No.
That's all I think about is the bad stuff that I did in fear of, will they do some of that stuff? Because I know kids still do a lot of the stuff that I did, but I think about if I don't do something to stop that from happening, I have to control it somehow. And I, my theory is I'll just be so cool that they're always going to be open with me. And I don't know, I feel like no matter what, it'll just happen how it's supposed to happen. If I'm a disciplinarian, like my parents were, it could backfire or it could work. If I'm really cool and open, they might walk all over me or whatever. But one thing that I question or I'm curious for you guys, we're probably a little too young for this to happen, but kids are too young, I should say.
I was like, wait, what?
But has there been a time yet, or in as your kids are growing up, where there's been a I have to do something another kid bullied your kid, or they got into a fight, or where you had to potentially at least contemplate confronting another parent or kid for something that happened, or your kid did something that you have to confront? Because my wife is very scared that she's gonna end up going to prison one day because some kid is gonna mess with one of our kids, and she's got a temper. And I don't think would hold back. And so I think about that. But it's got to happen all the time. The kids pick on other kids and get into fights, and girls, boys, doesn't matter. They can talk smack or message online about somebody or post something about somebody, especially these days. Have you guys had any issues that you've had to go talk to another parent or the school or whatever?
This one.
Well, I really haven't. And again, I'm very lucky, blessed. I have really good kids. The worst I ever had that I can remember was somebody got left out and somebody wasn't invited. And so now somebody's feelings are hurt. And then the other parent is calling the other parent. And, when there's 80 kids in a group, somebody's going to get left out and somebody's going to feel neglected or slighted. But we didn't have many big issues. I feel like everything
Has never had to contemplate going to knock out some parent.
no.
I have fought a sixth grader, but not their parent.
I've thought about that too.
And I mean, same with me. We haven't had any issues. I mean, a couple times, so my older daughter, she could give a shit. Like, she's more like me, where she's just like, well, who cares? Like, nothing really gets to her. My middle daughter's a little different. Like, she kind of is I want to be included kind of thing. And not to a degree where it's bad, but like my older daughter, there's been a couple times where there's been issues. And fortunately, we're friends with the parents. So, hey, this just happened. Oh, okay, we'll figure it out, but nothing serious.
I mean, I can see, yes, my daughter's not even 2, but like at the park a few weeks ago, he was probably 6, 7 little boy playing, and he was throwing his like metal race cars up the slide. One like went past her head, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where is this kid's parents? And I need to talk to him. Like, no one's watching this kid. He's about to kill someone with his race car. So you can see how quickly, you could be like, what? Are you messing with my kid?
It takes a turn, for sure.
Well, there's the 6-year-old, like, they're light. That kid can fly.
Yeah, but I mean, I would never do anything, but you could see how quickly you could get there if someone did something to your kid. I get that because I think we're married to similar women.
Yeah.
I'm very, very fearful of
Call her whatever
anyone that messes.
I'm going to call her a lovely lady.
She'll admit
She'll cut a bitch.
to cool her down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's that whole family, though.
So back to your question. I mean, I was so insanely fortunate. You didn't get to meet my dad. You obviously did not, but Brad did a little bit. It was, in my dad and mom both, it was that environment of, we're going to meet you where you're at. We're going to love you no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter, gay, straight, come home with an earring, fail in school. Like, we're going to use it as an opportunity it's a learning lesson. We're going to walk you through these things, but like, it didn't matter. We're going to love you unconditionally no matter what. And if that's built in, like, that's how you build the trust with your kids. Being cool, not cool, like, kids don't care. I mean, this is my perspective. I don't think kids care if your mom or dad are cool.
Right.
It's just like, do I know that I'm loved? And do I have an environment where, I can actually talk about things that are going on in my life? I saw, private, small, religious K through 12 school growing up, saw so many parents that constrained their kids to a box. And it was like, if you're not doing these things, you're going to hell, or you're wrong, you're bad, or whatever. And in every situation, I shouldn't say every, there's always outliers, but in a majority of the situations, those kids, as soon as they had a little bit of freedom, got a little bit older,
the other way.
They went in a totally opposite direction, pushed against it.
But David, I think like what you were saying earlier, where, you said you were very fortunate, you obviously did some shady shit when you were younger.
Did I say that?
You said bad things, whatever it was. But I also think it's what your kids see from you. Like,
yeah, totally.
Right? I mean,
actions speak louder
than words. Like, I mean, my wife and I don't go out all the time. We don't party, so I think hopefully my kids see that and they're like, oh yeah, that looks good. As opposed to, if we're drinking all the time and doing that kind of stuff. Like, I think
putting garden gnomes out in your front yard.
Yeah, or loofah, or
the loofah,
body sponges, loofahs, whatever.
Body sponge.
But whatever but I think they see that, right? And as they get older, they start to emulate what they see. So I think we can all say, yeah, we did things in our past that none of us are probably necessarily proud of, but I think it's what they see as you're getting older and maturing, and they are too.
And I think also being honest about the past, right?
Yeah.
Like knowing that your parent, oh, well, dad did that. You have to openly share everything you did, but in those moments, it's an opportunity to just like, I can connect and relate because I had to navigate that myself. So,
well, like my kids asked, like, I don't know, a month ago, when was the first time you had a drink? I'm like, I was 21. I'm like, Dad, no, you weren't. I'm like, all right, I was 20 and a half. And it was, I'm like, they're going to find out and they know that I'm full of shit. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
I think every kid's different.
Every good.
Oh yeah.
Like, I constantly am like thinking of theories on how to best parent, and even us talking about this, like, just as long as you're there as a sounding board or whatever it might be. At the end of the day, like, you could have, like in my household, my parents were disciplinarians, or tried to be, I should say.
Didn't work.
It did not work at all for me. But my brother was, he didn't like break any rules. Same parents,
Right.
Same parenting style,
Yeah.
two completely different outcomes. And I see that with lots of kids, and I'm sure your family too. Like,
Same.
So I don't even know if the parenting tactics really matter as to what kid is going to go experiment with things or whatnot. I don't know where it comes from, but, obviously I still want to try to control everything, but like, I feel like I have to somehow find a way to just
Let go and let God.
Let go and let God. Yes. That's all he is.
Wow, this just turned.
My son that's at Michigan State, Hayden, he's a sophomore. I'd buy him alcohol.
Nice.
He's a sophomore. And by the way, when he was a freshman moving into the dorms, I bought him alcohol. I handed it to him as he was moving into his room. I think I got him a couple handlers.
Attaboy.
And you know what? They're drinking. And there's just no question about it. And there's nothing you can do, whether it's through, nurturing or Mother Nature. It's going to happen. And so you better embrace it, understand it, and just teach around it. And there's nothing you're going to do that is going to stop them from experimenting.
No.
It's just not possible. And you don't want that. I think you want them to learn and figure it out on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. And also like, kind of understand your limits, right? Because if you're that like, I'm just going to break the system, you go to college and you just start binge drinking. I mean, I can speak. It's like, oh, I'm passed out in lawns and it like, because
I don't think any of us here did not do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that is part of the thing. I did all my really bad stuff in high school. And then when I got to college, I was like, I've kind of been there. I mean,
yeah.
I don't.
My wife is the same way. She like did it all in high school.
So I was kind of like, I just like, even when I was in Arizona this weekend and one of my college roommates was there and my nephews were like, what was Uncle Brad like? And he's like, well, he was crazy, but I only saw him drunk twice just because I had done that, and it sort of, I was sort of over it. Even now, I mean, I don't really drink at all because it was just kind of like, I had that fun-ish and now I'm over it.
Yeah. I mean, every kid is uniquely different is so true.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, everyone's going to figure out as long as they come back to north, right? Mm-hmm. Home at some point and know that no matter what that path is, like they have parents that love them. Like, I feel like if you do that, you've accomplished your goal, the mission.
Yeah.
But it is funny. I mean, looking at like you and your brother, right? Two extremely different outcomes, same parents. My brother and sister and me are the same way. I'm sure you guys are, right? I mean, it's just the personality sort of takes over. And even for my kids, I'm like, man, they're so different with the way they think, the way they act. And it's wild at times.
Right. Same two parents, same house.
Yeah.
Same food, same rules.
Wow. Yeah, it is wild.
But some just know that they can push it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and trying to control everything. And obviously we all want to protect our kids, right? But, we'll be sitting there, I'm sure tomorrow or at some point, and Frankie, my daughter, will be running or something, and Bianca will want her to stop to protect her, or she'll be grabbing something and to protect her. And I also want to protect her, but then part of me is like, well, she's got to learn. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if she falls, maybe I don't want her to be hurt, but I also know that if I hadn't made mistakes, I never would have learned. Right? It's like the best way to learn.
Right.
The fear is that the mistake is too painful that something bad happens. But yeah, I feel like there's no real protecting them from a little pain.
No,
Yeah,
you can't.
in those early years for sure. Like that's how they develop.
Yeah.
And then you have like the kids, like myself, experiential learner, right? I'm going to do it probably not just once, do it multiple times.
Then I'm going to figure.
Then I'll figure out. Whereas like my sister was like, oh, I know this is the rule, so I'm going to stick in the boundaries, and like I don't have to experience it to learn it. I just know right from wrong. I was like, oh, very differently wired.
Yeah.
So we're all our own people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that because she saw you make all the mistakes and she's like, that looks terrible? Or
It could have been. But then my brother, who's 8 years younger, saw it and he's like, I see your mistake.
and I'll raise?
I will raise it by a multiplier. So,
He made you look good.
Yeah.
In that.
Well, Peter, you actually were pretty darn good, actually, all things considered.
Well, I don't know when, this will end up airing, but right now we're in the holiday season.
Happy Hanukkah, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know for myself, and we'll kind of wrap this up, but it's a time for gratitude and to it's like the perfect time to reach out to people, tell them you care about them and all that kind of stuff, but also reflect and start thinking about your year. And so I've been doing a lot. I do gratitude lists like daily, but extra gratitude lately, and like really digging into it. And so I wanted to, before we leave, wanted to hear, so we're heading into the next holiday seasons, or the end of the holiday season, and I just want to hear, what are you guys grateful for this year? Because it's been a tough year for a lot of people. I know for me it definitely has been, but at the same time, when I look back, like I could easily say this was like the hardest year I've had in probably since I turned my life around, in a lot of ways. But then at the same time, probably the best year because of you guys.
Bod. It's the bod.
Well, I'm alive. I made it through. My kids, I get to watch my kids for a whole year, like change and do amazing things and spend time with them and all that. So like, it's kind of selfish of me to like say it was a tough year because like there's so many amazing things around me. So what are you guys grateful for? Peter?
Wow.
Good.
Yeah.
Make it good.
Is that like kind of an end of the year thing?
I do. I mean, I think on the kid front, my daughter's young, but I've seen through social media and just network a lot of people that have recently had kids or have younger kids and are battling like just crazy health stuff. Kids in hospitals and or whether it's special needs, it doesn't matter. Just challenges, and I'm definitely very grateful that yet we haven't had to overcome any of that stuff. I feel extremely blessed that we have a healthy kid and she seems to be happy and developing. Also, I think, this is, I would say it's probably longer than just the year, but the last couple of years of just doors closing, which I will frame up as rejection. And I think kind of doing a reflection of that, like truly believing that rejection is God's protection in a lot of ways. Like, why did that opportunity not work out the way that I thought it was going to work out? Why did that relationship, go in a different direction? Why am I not as close with this friend as I once was? And if I'm truly objective with it, whether it's job changes or whatever, it's like, oh, that's not where I was supposed to be. So how do I look at this as a huge opportunity to move forward? And I feel like there was a lot of that this year that's like, yeah, in the moment, some of those things were really painful. And now looking back, it's like, man, I'm in a totally better position because of it. So yeah, grateful for doors opening and doors closing.
Doors closing.
Yeah.
Love that. I don't think Brad's.
I feel like I always follow you on shit, and it's like the worst thing ever.
We should go on a trip and talk.
You guys should. You guys should go on a really cool trip, and you should talk about that kind of shit. I'm not grateful at all.
Forgot you were still here.
What?
What are you grateful for?
I was grateful for this before you two. No, I mean, as cliche as it is, I mean, I'm grateful for my family. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for them. They drive me crazy and I drive them crazy, but it's like the most fun, like I was saying earlier. I mean, it's the most fun that I have is like, when we're doing something, when we're together and as I'm, getting closer with them at different things, it's just become so much fun. And, I feel very blessed to have that, because at one point I didn't want that in any way, shape or form. Like I was cruising along, like single as can be and hanging out with friends and my family and then it sort of all took a turn and it was like amazing, and 16, 17 years ago, I would never have thought I would be in where I am now.
You have like a built-in
literally here.
5 friends. Like
I do.
You do.
I do.
Cool.
It's great.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So that's my main.
Love it. All right,
not as good as Peter.
You can come on vacation with us. Now.
So not as good as Peter. Where are you guys going to go?
We have a lot of ideas.
I think they're going to Greece. And so what they're going to do is they're going to take a cardboard cutout of me and just like take pictures of it to have different spots.
We want to know what is on his bucket list, and then we're going to.
Yeah, they sent me a text. They sent me a text the other day. Logan's like, Brad, when are you busy?
Right.
So that's what I'm dealing with. Yeah. So that's where my gratitude comes from, David.
I understand.
We do need a boys trip bad. I need a boys trip.
Well, did you guys go to South Africa together?
We did, yeah.
That's not just the two of us.
Oh, why?
I did. Yeah, they were going on a trip, and we ran into them at a concert. We just ran into you at a concert, and I had literally just put it on a vision board to go on safari, and so we went to this concert. We saw them there. We're chatting. They said they had booked this safari, and like, you guys should come. And we're like, oh, okay.
You say that, and you never think that people are going to do it. You just want to be extra nice.
Like, oh, they're fun. It was amazing.
He took me serious.
Yeah. They were like, we didn't really mean that. And so we crashed their trip, and I surprised Bianca with it. I put on a lion costume and like surprised her with it one day after I booked. And then we went and we were friends before, but I think like we got to know each other a lot more on the trip, which traveling, I feel like, get to know people.
I think that makes or breaks.
Yeah, for sure.
A friendship, for
sure.
Yeah. No, for
and a lot of
relationships in general.
Yeah. But yeah, so yes, we went saw that.
2 weeks in Africa, the last day of our trip before flight, I woke up and there was feathers in my underwear. From the club we wandered into in Johannesburg, Africa, the night before. So it was a good trip.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll unpack that on another episode.
Yeah. That might need its own episode.
Yeah. It was a funny trip. There was a lot. Yeah. So David.
Yeah, grateful.
What are you grateful for?
Besides this, obviously.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have to tell you, I was going last. I got to listen to all three of you, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for health. I'm grateful for my children and their health, my wife. We have blessings. I'm appreciative of what we've done together and created together. And I feel like every day I just become more and more aware of how good things can be when you appreciate what you have. And I do. I absolutely do. And I'm very fortunate. And I really leave it at that. I mean, without health, you're navigating a completely different, path, and it's tough.
Yeah.
We are good. My kids are happy. My wife is happy most of the time. with me
Yeah. Well, she gets to see me
tonight.
tonight
For dinner.
That'll make her happy, I'm sure.
I hope so. As long as you don't come back to the house with us, she'll be great.
Is that
a
matter?
No, I didn't know what level of happy he wanted to take.
Oh, I didn't know if this was like a, hey, we're going to Africa type thing. And
I've been to Africa. I'm not going back.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I wish I could go every 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, Logan got the safari bug.
Yeah.
I remember you saying something.
But
You mentioned something about buying a compound in Africa.
no,
and,
the resort.
and maybe it was the resort and,
Yeah.
and relocating your family.
I want
and
to.
becoming.
And Bianca, this is twice now, she has said, oh, yeah, I would do that. And so I started planning. Like, okay, it's not going to be tomorrow, but, I'm going to plan, make goals and everything with that as the end goal. And
Where in Africa?
the place that we went to, the beach resort.
Oh, like
Kenya.
in Cape Town.
No, in Kenya.
Oh,
the one that
place that you went to.
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it.
And actually, after the first time, I loved it, and then I took Bianca's brother.
I was going to say, is that the one
second time
too?
Yeah, and
Yeah, you should buy that.
it's actually for sale. And so I started I started
Yeah.
looking into it. I mean, I was telling him about it, like looking at all the costs, all the salaries that you'd have to.
You could buy a resort for like $100 in Africa.
No, it's
This one's 300.
yeah. This is like a awesome place, but it inexpensive compared to if you were to buy something here for sure. But it would be a whole lifestyle thing and not an easy move whatsoever.
It's a little hard to see the grandparents.
That kind of thing is really the hardest part. But so I'm doing all this research thinking this could become a reality. And then she's like, I wasn't serious. I'm like, oh, I was.
There goes that train.
Yeah, I'm like, I was like,
We just gotta do your
it's a
famous
resort.
Logan,
We have a
like
place for
surprise.
that.
Just do your hey,
We're
here. Surprise.
Vina was going to slide the thing across to Courtney and be like, I bought a place in Cornwall, by the way.
I don't think that would go over so
I
well.
don't think so either.
Yeah. And then again, after we went on our Jamaica trip, I'm like, God, Caribbean's a lot closer than Kenya. And she was like, oh, yeah, for sure. So then I start doing my research there. And she's like, you didn't think I was
Dumb. Like,
serious,
you got to really get the sign off before you start doing all the work.
We're kind of stuck
I
here.
think you learned the first time.
We're kind of stuck here.
It's not a bad place to be stuck. You got Brad.
I love it. I love it so much. I got it tattooed on my butt. With that, thank you, David, for being here. Thank you guys as always.
to meet you
I love you guys.
Right.
Again, not sure when this is going to air, but it's the holiday season.
Is it ever going to?
Happy holidays. That's the meta part. As they're watching or listening to this, it has already aired.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Peace out.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
See ya.